All right, welcome. It's been a couple weeks. So I've been real inconsistent here, which I know is not ideal for anything on YouTube. But I've had a bunch of stuff going on, family matters, and a whole bunch of stuff like that. But anyways, I'm here now. Let's get this show on the road. So I haven't even set up charts yet. That's the first thing we're going to do right now is set up some charts, see what's going on here. Give me 1 second. Hopefully you guys are all having a good night. Been green lately. Market's been not too bad. I can't I can't complain. I've had some rough patches as always, but generally speaking, things have been looking pretty good. Um, so, all right, let's clean up these charts. If you like to see, sort of what it looks like by the end of my day, it looks a little crazy, doesn't it? Look at all this mess. But you're going to see in just a second. It's all this sort of gets layered on as I go. But to start, yeah, I want to get rid of all this stuff here. So lately I have been building both the MES and the MNQ. It's kind of been working out for me pretty well. And what it gives me the opportunity to do is it really just gives me the opportunity to trade either one if the setup is there. And it also allows me sometimes to see if they're both in line, which I know is real common. Most people actually do that. I'm not gonna lie, I'm sometimes a little bit lazy and I don't build MES, so I don't really look at it and I just sort of trade value areas and figure things out. But I'm trying to be more appropriate. I'm trying to not get taken by surprise as often as I sometimes can be. That's weird. I don't know how I did that. So right now I'm just starting to set up the charts here. We're over on the MES. This is actually today's values that we're doing right now. What I have found lately is that I somehow went from being so super stoked about market open and just like being in the game and being involved and always prepping to now I'm really starting to find my groove with just allowing the market to open. I watched Patrick Whalen for a very long time, and he is an awesome trader. I don't know how many times, he'll lose a bunch, but man, he wins. And when he wins big, and he trades a lot. And I really wanted that action. I wanted to be like him where, you just hear him say like, yeah, I'm just going to shoot for this long and see what happens. But in the long run, it just really wasn't working for me. I love the fact that he's able to do that. I really wish I could, but yeah, it's not. I feel like sometimes it's not in the cards. I did like watching. I wish I knew his real name. I don't watch it enough. D Money. I love watching him. He's a real patient trader. He's analytical. He's very precise and just same with all of his entries. He's a real joy to watch over there. Man, look at that. This naked Asian point of control is still here. That's crazy. Dude, this thing, just like that overnight high, not to jump around, but if you were all trading this morning and you noticed the overnight high from the other day had not been tagged yet, yeah, I mean it didn't seem like it really should. It didn't seem like it should have pushed up as high as it did this morning in pre-market, but and I was trying to short the market, honestly. I had 2 unsuccessful attempts trying to short this morning, and then I finally had to give in and say, okay, the ES was definitely in value and in range, but NQ was not. It was above value, above range, and it was pushing for that overnight high from day before yesterday, and it hit it. It hit it really, really well. It definitely targeted that. Okay, so we're getting this all cleaned up here. But I guess I'm surprised that this naked Asian point of control is just still sitting down here from, that's now a couple of days it's been sitting down there. It'll get tagged eventually. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to add the low of day, only because that's sort of where we're at now. I won't worry about the high of day. So okay, we've got our values on. Now we need to add our developing. Here at 6 o'clock, going almost into the hour here. Extended. All right, we're going to flip back to MES, see if I need to add anything here. So yeah, see where MES is? Like, see, man, look at ES, MES opening super inside range. So, you know, let's back out a little bit. You know, I just take a look right here at the 5. I mean, we're just, you know, we're just sort of ranging right in this big block here. This this weekly point of control, resistance, support, support, broken, kind of consolidating around it, maybe holding support, don't know. But we did put in a lower or a higher low. We're putting in a bunch of equal highs. So this will just be something of interest to me. Like when we start approaching these highs one more time, you know, I'll be curious to see what it does, right? Don't need to add anything there. All right, so you know, I got my CVD down here below. I feel like I really wanted CVD to pair up nicely with value areas, but in all honesty, what I find is that I find that the CVD essentially matches price action like 80% of the time, and I'm always like looking for that great day of divergence, and I rarely ever see it. Maybe it happens and I just don't pay attention, but you know, if you look here, let's see, market was choppy, but we were going down. Market grinded up, and CVD grinded up. Market started to sell off. It sold off. It bought up at the end. Bought up at the end. Now it's consolidating. It's like all the same. So I don't really pay attention that much. Sometimes you'll see it and it'll look like this because I'll actually forget that it's even down there. Really, all I'm trying to use is just levels. You know, very significant levels, highs, lows. I'll use during New York session 30-minute ORB initial balance on the side that it's on. Half the time I don't even mark off the opposite side if I don't think it's going to get there. In this case, in the MES, I'm not even going to really mark the lows or the highs right now just because it's really far away. I mean, I can do that later. I like this session. I do enjoy the Asia session for its pretty clean, simple fades, especially starting around now. But what I'm just doing now is just getting in like an overview of what we're looking at, right? We sold off, we grinded up, popped up, sold off, grinded up a little bit. We're basically holding weekly point of control. And right now for the MES, we are super range bound. We're inside range, inside value. So I would suspect for right now, fade the highs, buy the lows, nothing too crazy. Ideally, you get a little bit more, confluence. Right now, I try not to, if I can get away with it, I really try not to trade just developing by itself. I used to just kind of go on blind, especially in the overnight sessions. You know, you don't wait for confirmation. You go on the dot, and you usually get a nice little bounce. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, that's why I added the VWAPs in the second with the second and third band, just to see if I can. Sometimes if I can't get a confluence with developing and a previously established value area, I'll try to use, if I can, a VWAP. Right, and you try to use that in line with CVD. You know, can you get some cumulative volume delta to match up with you? Let's go back to the MNQ. So, right, MES, we just remember in range and value. Let me take off this crazy stuff first. I try not to have that if I don't need it. So here we're below low of day. So here we're below range. So now, whereas this morning the MES was much lower than the MNQ. You know, I'm just for sure I'm gonna say NQES. The ES was sitting much lower. Now the opposite is true. Now the NQ is sitting lower than the ES. So we've got previous value area high, previous point of control, value area low, low of day. We're sitting above, well above the weekly point of control. We do have this naked Asia POC, so this is from last night. So this is last night's naked Asian. I have just kind of found that so here's what I found. Like if your Asia session consolidates or has a range, whatever, it's range bound, and then your London session explodes out of that range one way or the other, it never touches the Asian point of control. I have found often enough that in the New York session will go test that point of control. If it doesn't do it that day, it still will. Like I said, the overnight high, for instance, that was right here. This overnight high, typically overnight unresolved highs are resolved, and we went through Monday, it was unresolved, Tuesday unresolved, and then it was in here when I started seeing this around 6 o'clock this morning. I was like, I can see us attacking that, and well, we did. We took it out. So there we are. All right, let's take a look. Let me jump back down to the 1 now, make sure that I'm lined up on my values correctly, because once you change your time, that often disappears on you. We're going to clean that out. Okay, so here we are. Let's see if we can make some money today. I've been trading 1 account at a time, 4 accounts, 2 funded, 2 evals. It's been clean. I'll trade anywhere between, I got a full-size contract now. If I'm on the evals, I'll usually start 3 to 5, go up to 10, 20 if I need to. On the funded, just so I don't get blown out, I just been building them slow. I've been keeping them like 3 to 5 contracts. On a really good A+ trade, I'll go up to a contract or something, but I've just been trying to keep it simple. I'm not a big money maker. Maybe one, like a bunch of other people who are online. It's awesome, but I tend to really not like the feeling of having 5, 10 accounts in drawdown. It sort of affects me for some reason much more than just having 1 account, even though it's all generally the same. Because if you make money on all those accounts. On the profile, we're almost in a B-shaped profile, except we did build a decent amount of volume right up here at the low of day, which makes sense, right? It's going to test the low of day. It did. It opened up, kind of hung out here for a while. It failed to go any higher, right? Failed to break over this clump of action here. Came down, had no ability, no buyers stepped in, went all the way down, and let's see here at 780. Let's see if we can find anything to the left that indicates why a 780 could have been a good stop for a buy. Well, I mean, it could be coincidence. I don't know. But, right, if you look at this morning's buy up at 6:30, it's in the same exact spot. Now, let's see. I think we still have a data low that can be hit. I've got a cat crawling all around me right now. Her name is Pumpkin. She's full of energy. She didn't get to go outside today. There you go. Go into the tunnel. All right, there we go. All right, so we got a little base support there. That makes sense. Let's add in a data low here. Usually data lows, just like unresolved lows and unresolved highs and all that other good stuff, they usually like to be tested. It's not a place I would go on for an entry, but it is a place that I would take an exit, or at least target if I could. All right, so what do we got going on here? We got NQ, just for short, I'm saying NQ. It is the MNQ. I know they're slightly different when you look at the charts, but I'm tired of saying MN and ME, so just saying it. NQ. NQ is pushing. ES is also trying to push out of that same clump from a little bit earlier this day. Looks like we're well above VWAP, going up to the second band, the second VWAP band. If we start to find our way above 71, we might be on to C73. So I want to keep track over here, see what that's going on about. Now, again, I don't use these order blocks and market structure breaks massively, but I like to know that they're there. You know, it gives me a little bit of an idea. See, that's why I don't like them, right? You got a 5-minute bullish order block. Well, actually, it's gone now. And then 1 minute, we have bearish order blocks above, market structure break, bearish above. 770 on the MES. Trying to push in the value area high. I don't want to just short this because you see the volume, it dips off a little bit, but it gains enough momentum right up here at low a day. It kind of feels like now that we tested the support zone, it feels like we might want to test low of day. And you know, I mean, it is only 11 points up. But why waste the 11 points when realistically, if I were to go in now at 6, I'm only looking back to point of control 8 points, and only if I were really lucky would it test the bottom of the range again down to 83. But I usually sell at point of control if I'm in on the value end. So what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to sell or buy the extreme ends of value area if I can. Unless these are double or triple layered, and then they take a little bit more of a focus, the levels, than sort of what's happening on the value area scale. I think my dog is coming up now to visit me. I can hear her breathing somewhere in the background. All right, so I'm still just talking to myself, but that's okay. I haven't made a video in a couple weeks, so I don't see why anyone would actually be jumping over to the channel. Man, it's like Animal Central up here right now. So yeah, this is that real boring kind of session right now. Going back to MES, see what's going on. Nothing. We do have a fall off here. We're at third band, but this could also push. Can't lie. Let's see here. What's the news? NASDAQ ends higher as fresh CPI data calms earlier than expected rate hike fears. So let's see. Google, DJT, WEN, BE, SNDK, and Focus. All right. Nothing. Nothing there. MES chilling. Back to MNQ. This is the boring life of trading. This used to really bother me though. I think before I used to really just want to trade. Now I'm going to blow this up because it actually looks like a significant amount of volume is either just popped up or I just wasn't looking at this very well. So we're going to bump this up to 50 and see if we can get a closer look. Ah, there we go. So that B shade profile is coming a little bit more into place, that really big drop off. It's not bad, right? I mean, you're going right here at 807. The problem is you barely got 10 points. You also might stop on the VWAP. As you can see, it was holding as resistance, so it could just, honestly, it could just be a 7-point move. And, you know, the only thing is like, I'm not going to put down 30 contracts to get 7 points, because if I'm off 7 points and this thing just wants to pop up just a little bit, and if it just wants to pop up right here to this first band, you know, like I'm already way down in the evening. So in all honesty, there's no trade for me yet. You know, the only thing I like is I like this drop off, but I don't like to use the word feel, but it feels like it wants to push through. And I already know, like you can already see, like right here, this volume right here matches the node here. And when I see that, nothing's guaranteed, but you know, I've seen it just kind of, you know, I've seen it get sent up like a vacuum. It just like there's no air in a funnel and it just gets sucked right up or taken right down. Yeah, this is one of those nights where if nothing happens by 7:30, 7:40, I'm usually just out, you know. I mean, you can see like my trading has gotten crazy. I had done a video where I said I had quit the New York session. My role is still chaotic at my job, but I'm finding little places. So if we just look at this month, look at the chaos of this trading. Actually, it's not as bad as I thought. This month, not bad. So, right, got a decent amount between 450 and 730. Got a bit of a cluster here starting around 10 o'clock. That's a solid time. These are surprising. I don't know when I was trading at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And then you can see back here 6:30 to about 8 o'clock for a little ditty of a trade there. Nothing much. Not big trades, right? Like, what's my low day? 121. And what's my high day? 552. But you know what? On top of a full-time job, like, this is just extra cash. Now, maybe if I started copy trading, maybe if I bought more accounts, maybe if I took more trades, because you look here, I mean, like, my standard trades are about this here, 2, 4, 8 is even a bit much. When you start seeing 12 and even 8, really, and 11, that's not actually 11 separate trades. That's just me usually scaling in and scaling out. And it drives me crazy that, like, I wish there was a session trade and not every time you click a button a trade. That would be preferable. I feel like it would be more realistic of your actual trading. All right, so ES here, breaking above 71. As I said, if it starts breaking above 71, we might be able to push toward point of control at 73.50. And so that means if it's going to go to point of control at 73.50, which would be the next objective level that it could go to, that means there's a chance that we could get this up to 818 back to low of day. We can see it did push against second band. Remember what I told you? Like I said, you only get 7 points. So what would you make that work? You go 30 contracts, but if it goes to 811, 812, 811.50, you're already down a ton of money. And like, where's your stop at? Are you just going to put an arbitrary stop in to only lose a certain amount of money, and then most likely you lose it because it's too arbitrary, because it's based upon a max risk tolerance due to your size and not actual, objective sort of data on the screen. Now it's pushed above 1150, going to 812. There it is. I told you, 771, right? I told you. It doesn't have to, but I said there's a good chance, because look at this, just thin structure, grind its way back down. There's no reason for it to really not at least kind of find this cluster. 773 to 774 seems very doable for ES, and that puts the MQ right back up to bam. I told you, man. I told you. I said it was going to go back to low a day. It was off by a tick, 2 ticks. And honestly, ES didn't even get a chance to go there yet. MNQ took off without it. Oh man. Yeah, the patience game, right? I think this is what would fry me. Is I would be good for like a month, and then in one day I could lose my account. And honestly, there was 2 reasons, and they were usually not taking A+ setups. And if you're hearing that a lot, and you're hearing, like, what the hell is an A+ setup anyways? I don't know, it depends on how long you've been in the game. If you understand like what works for you and how you trade, it's not that hard anymore to define like what your own A+ setup is. It could be a bunch of things. And honestly, like, make this really simple. I threw on these VWAPs because I can't get anything to like really work together right now, since the developing layers are a little bit low. Take these off, and you look at this right here, and there's no A+ setup right now. Like, even this just happened, and this was like definitely post. Oh, my dog is coming up here again. She's so loud when she comes up. Can you hear her breathing in the background? She's like an elephant. Jesus. What's up, girl? Yeah. I don't think the one person that may be watching me online right now wants to listen to you breathe this loudly. You're not getting the hint. All right, come on, sit. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, I mean, drawing this block in, this was definitely a post. Like I didn't go, oh, this block is here, and here's a perfect, setup on value area low, and this nice support. Like this already happened, and I went left, and I was like, well, why did it happen? Oh, well, there is possibly a reason. So I put the block in as maybe a future test. But you look up here, value area high developing, nothing, right? It's not on anything. Low of day, okay, great. Been tested, consolidated around it, broke, failed it. I did just say that this was going to happen. I did say if ES or MES would get above 71, you'd probably see MNQ hit low of day. And it tested it. I didn't know if it would sustain it, but it definitely tested it. I was right about that. But that also wasn't a long for me either. I mean, you look at the drop off that was here a couple minutes ago, and this was my value area sort of thought process. This was much more of a short than it was a long, but the risk was it was too easy to say this thing could get hoovered up into this node right here or somewhere around if it broke through, if MES broke 71. That's exactly what it did. And then you look at your reward. What's the reward for value area high to point of control? It was 6 points. Hell, it's barely 6. It's 5. So there's just no trade right now. And I'll tell you, for as long as I've been trading, it was the biggest thing to trade green for a month, to put up $10,000 in profit and then in one day to lose it. And like I said, the two reasons why I did it is because I wasn't taking proper setups, right? I was just wanting to be in the action. I felt that adrenaline. I needed to be in it. I felt like I was Patrick Whelan, like, yeah, I'm gonna take this for a breakout, see what happens. And then when it would go against me, I almost wouldn't know what to do. I was like, no, I can't be that wrong. I'll let it play out for a minute, and then, and then it would just completely destroy me. And the second one was just not having good risk management. Just look at what's possible. When I go in on a trade now, this is not like I flipped a switch and just decided to do this. It took me a long time. Oh, he left. It took me a long time to say that, like, I feel like I don't even need to continue talking. No one's here. It's just me, right? Yeah. Like, I think I'm the only one on my own channel right now. Yep. Boring. Nothing going on. That is slow. The latency on my stream is very slow. The only thing about live streaming is I can't really go to any other place. Get my other computer out. Can't like have the whole world in my email or something like that. That's not appropriate. I really thought I did, but I actually don't. Oh. Oh. All right. Something should hopefully happen at some point, or nothing will happen. Nothing will happen, and I'll just be sitting up here until I shut this down. I feel like this is the second time this week I've just not done anything. at night. Just no trade presents itself. All right, looks like we're pushing again. So we're holding that point of control. MES back above 71. Still no trade yet. So what I could do is I could create Aspen. Lay down. Lay down, girl. Lay down. Lay down. Come on, lay down. Oh my goodness. Maybe we should try some free music. Why does every cat have to be up here? Free music. Free music YouTube. Let's see what we got here. I mean, I don't really have a whole bunch. Whoa, it's making me hate me. What is this? What we do, relax. How about we do relax? Feel good? No, let's do relax. This don't seem right. Focus. I feel like this isn't really free. Something doesn't seem right about that. No one's on yet. What do we got here? Music. Let's confirm my choices. Create free account. Alright, so backup point of control. Nothing exciting going on. 771 still being held. At this point now, we want to start seeing 770, 175. And let's see here. MES is still inside range, inside value, a lower end of point of control. MNQ is still outside of range, outside of value, and hovering just below low of day. Let's continue with you. Let's use this one. Let's continue. Individual creator. YouTube. Some music going. Trying to get something going. Oh, we're breaking below point of control. All right, so something that could be of interest is this big drop off down here. I mean, there is just nothing down here. Where is this built a little node out? Pumpkin, what are you doing? You know, if we can, we're going to get through this suction here. This will suck us right back down to about 800. We break 800, start working our way back down to value area lows. This could get a little bit interesting. You can see it's accelerating through this pocket, and nothing surprising there. It will probably start to slow down around 800. MES still holding value area high, developing. Yeah, you know, I just feel like this whole day, ES and Q have not been in sync at all. And it just bums me out because I lose a lot of interest. Let's see here. Work sad, relaxing. What's relaxing? Should we try it? Play. Hopefully this isn't too loud. Or loud at all. Yeah, that's some cool sax right there. It's a little something. Start this here. Keep that. I felt like I was doing something. Oh yeah. Yeah, so if you jump on, throw up a message. I've got nothing going on right now. Here it is. That's what I wanted to do. So now we want to go to responses, personal. So we want with that one, this one. All right. Just chilling over here. We are not doing anything. You know what? And sometimes I like to jump over the 5. It just like gets rid of a bit more noise. I can find a little bit more stability in what's happening. Sometimes I find a better setup, like just staring at the 5 than just looking at the value areas. So if we did that, and then I go to responses. Oh my goodness. Let's get somewhere. ES is beginning to come back down. Alright, so we would really need ES is about to hit 68. It's going to have to get through the 68s because it's ahead of MNQ in the sense of where it's going. Previous state value area low. Yeah. Oh, they're both close. You see this hold the 68 start turning around, that's a good sign. But really the buy wouldn't be until 83 down here. Stop. Order type. Maybe do order type. Stop. Sit. 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 Aspen, sit. Sit. Aspen, sit. Goodness gracious. And back up we go. Boy, this thing is just going nowhere. Yes, still holding 71. I'm gonna go try laid back here. Laid back's a little better. A little more upbeat. Will it want to take out this high? I don't know. So one of the things I want to look at here is that when you are layered, so weekly value area high, developing value area high. So we are triple stacked down. I usually do not like to long this at all. In fact, preferably you're shorting the developing value area low, but you're much safer to short value area high. It's just a matter of when. Right now it might try to squeeze a little bit. Couldn't say for sure. I mean, we couldn't get back to value area low. We got real bullish, coming right back up. We've been trying to test that low of day. It may just be a matter of time. It's weird. It's like you can only have so many lines. I think that's pretty good for now. I know I'm supposed to move my screen for the viewers, but there are no viewers. There's nothing. There's nothing to see, people. It's 7:45. I think I'm going to call it. Nothing's happening. You know what I do in my free time? I look at houses I can't afford. Not even crazy houses. It's not like I look at $1 million houses. Alright, people. By people, just me. I think I'm gonna kill it. I like this music idea though. My third stream, introduce music for the first time. Definitely helps because just talking into the space, into the void, endlessly. I think I start to run out of things to say, or I just start to babble. So where are we at right now? We are nowhere. Value high, low of day, keeping up as resistance, but with very little reward. Again, if I go in on value areas, I usually just trade a point of controls. When they're this tight, I do like to reach down for the bottom, but as you can see, it hasn't gotten there yet since the initial run. I don't want to go long just because my strategy says, hey, if I have a triple stack low, which is weekly value area high, above previous day value area high, which is above developing value area high, that means there's more and more acceptance to the downside. If there's more acceptance to the downside, then on the macro side of things, I'm just going to keep with the shorts. Yeah, and there's just no shorts to take right now. So I'm going to cut it. It's been an interesting evening. I'll be trading again in the morning. Probably still going to be trading over into the New York session for at least a short time. Usually around 10 o'clock I start taking the trades, but right now there just isn't a whole lot. And I tell you, that's the biggest rule that I've learned, is that if your trade isn't there, stay bored, keep your capital, and wait for it to happen. And I think that's all I got for tonight. If you're watching, thank you so much for tuning in for at least a portion of it. If you got questions, I promise I will get back to making videos. I just had to deal with a loss in the family. Had an injured pet a couple weeks ago, and work, as always, is just crazy. So not enough excuses to keep me off from making new videos, but crazy how time goes. And next thing you know, like 2 weeks goes by and no video goes out. I lost that person too. So yeah, all right. It looks like I'm going to call it here for a good night, and I will see you guys again soon.